hazard a guess, let us know via the Twitter or Facebook page, or just shout at the girls in the office. And I shall tell you later on. Matters in hand on the circuit. Petite for Tooley Motorsport. Andrew Tooley, the team boss, won this class, this event in 2007, and it was shortly afterwards that his racing career was curtailed by illness, epilepsy I believe, and had to take over the reins, decided to become a team boss, and a very successful one at that. Petite has won a couple of British Open titles for the Tooley team. And this class has been won by the likes of Sean Babington, Toby Sowery, Ash Hand, Adam Christodoulou, and David Bellchambers amongst the former GP plate champions in Junior Rotax. The only former champion in any class at this event racing today is Mark Kimber. Underway, Petite leads them into the Bruno Ferrari S's. Good start from Tyler Chesterton, who is latched onto the rear bumper of the poleman, but then is shuffled a little bit wide, going through turn 3, and Chesterton down to third. Up into second place comes, that is Joe Turney in kart number 96, the pink and purple Cosmic kart. And again, it seems to be a theme that on the first lap, the leader seems to be required to defend into the first couple of hairpins. Now, maybe William Petite is thinking, well, I don't want to get shuffled back to the middle of the pack, because when I was in the middle of the pack yesterday, that's when my day turned sour. And speaking of middle of the pack turning sour, there's karts off at the exit of the Bobby Game corner in the middle of the pack. We'll see who it was as they come around, but it's Turney, Petite, Chesterton, Kimber, Apps, Foster. It was Reese Hunter who went off in the number 34 HRS Engines kart, luckily without any long-term issues, and he's last, but he's still within striking distance. Logan Blake runs in 7th. Oh, and there is a more significant problem coming off the Litchfield Bridge. Moves going on down at the first hairpin. Chesterton passes Petite for 2nd. Apps in the number 14 Dan Holland kart is there in 4th, and in 5th, completing the lead group, is Mark Kimber. Foster is 6th, but a long way back now. And who was that? That is it was Tamer Chauhan having his usual drama. He has at least won a race. And unfortunately for Tamer, the very, very rapid driver from Dubai, he is a long way back from the rest of the pack. So I don't think we'll see a recovery drive like what we saw in one of the heat races yesterday, after Chauhan had been a little bit over-exuberant. But this is about learning. And there goes Miles Apps. Miles Apps, speaking of learning, he took Tyler Chesterton to school there, ducking up the inside of him expertly, coming through turn number 4 to take 2nd place. And now Petite passes Chesterton for 3rd. Kimber squeezes the Coles Racing number 25 wide, coming out of the 2nd hairpin to try and force the issue, and Chesterton hung tough on the outside, but eventually had to concede going into the Fullerton S's. Behind them, they're 2 and 3 wide onto the back straight. That is in the lower reaches of the top 10, and there's there's about 9 or 10 karts all ploughing into the Mike Wilson complex as one. Well, they all emerge somehow, and at the head of that group, crossing the start-finish line now, is Luke Oliver. And Luke Oliver in the number 77 Coles Racing kart. He really needs a good set of results today, because all has not been well in that number 77 kart this weekend, and if he can just get it running smoothly and get a decent top 10 finish, that'll be good. Turney begins to ease away now from Apps in 2nd, Petite in 3rd, battle for 4th between Chesterton and Kimber, and then a gap back to Foster. And behind Foster, those 2 very, very bright orange and green Persistence Motorsport karts. That would be Jason Lockwood in the number 78 and Isaac Smith in the number 23. On to the start line to complete lap number 4, and Tyler Chesterton becomes the first driver in this race to break the 1 minute barrier. 59.95 for the driver running in 4th place. He has broken the challenge of Kimber for now and is setting his sights on Petit in 3rd, who in turn is eyeing up Miles Apps' rear bumper with a certain degree of optimism. Are we going to see Petit make a move into the second hairpin? No. William Petit doesn't want to get embroiled in a fight with Miles Apps. He wants to try and make the move without losing too much ground to the race leader. Looking a bit further back, Cole Kilner, who's had a good weekend for Mick Barrett Racing in kart number 74. He is now starting to close in on the Persistence Motorsport duo of Lockwood and Smith. And I hope you can't have too many of those Persistence karts in front of you without wearing sunglasses. They're so bright. And behind Kilner is the number 32 kart of Jensen Brown in 10th place. Then Luke Oliver, George Holbrook, Reese Hunter, Ryan Elliott, Jamie Conker, Henry Ayres, Logan Blake, and Temo Chohan has retired. So maybe a bit of damage on that number 99 kart in the incident that delayed him so much. Well, now William Petit is stuck between a rock and a hard place because he's got Miles Apps directly in front of him and Tyler Cheston directly behind him, and oh dear, it appears as though one of the Persistence karts momentarily blinded Cole Kilner at the second hairpin because there was a collision, and one of them, either Kilner or the 23 of Isaac Smith, has lost or had part of its exhaust dislodged and will shortly be becoming the second retirement of this race. We've got 4 minutes to go. We're on lap number 7, and Tyler Chesterton sets another new fastest lap in kart number 25, 59.57 seconds. And he's setting about William Petit's 3rd place. Apps trying to close down Joe Turney for the lead. Kimber there in 5th. Then it's Foster, the number 53 privateer kart, in 6th. And Jason Lockwood, the surviving Persistence kart, in 7th. With Luke Oliver now up into 8th. Ahead of Jensen Brown and Reese Hunter in the 34. And then it is the 23 Persistent kart of Isaac Smith. So I believe that may have been Cole Kilner's exhaust sounding horrible. Or if not Kilner's, then George Holbrook has disappeared. Three minutes to go. And Jason Lockwood moves into 7th place down the hill towards hairpin number 1. Turney half a second in front of Apps. That's good news for Joe Turney, because even though Apps was trying, Joe Turney needs to be about 0.3 of a second ahead of Miles Apps coming onto the start-finish straight in order to stay out of Apps' radar by the time they get to the banking, because the exit of the Mike Wilson complex to the entrance of turn 2 is just one long drag strip for these karts. Now let's see how close Apps is. I don't think he's in slipstreaming range. He will gain a little bit as the number 96 kart just breaks up the air, and he does gain a little bit, but not quite close enough yet. 1 minute 45 to go. Cole Kilner and Isaac Smith continue to battle. They're now battling over 11th place. And Kilner getting the upper hand over Smith there. And Apps now 4/10 down. He was half a second down. And 90 seconds to go. Dan Holland Racing, number 14. Miles Apps from Dartford in Kent. setting about Joe Turney, who's from Woburn Sands. The number 56 cart going past my commentary box position. Jamie Conker from Mark Baines Motorsport. He is holding off Henry Ayres and Logan Blake. Now Apps is close enough. Will Apps use the momentum to dive up the inside onto the banking? Not yet. 48 seconds. Just under a minute to go. Why be picky? And so Joe Turney will soon sense Apps' presence. You'll hear the engine of Apps' cart, maybe see a flicker of a shadow in his peripheral vision, and he will know that he is not going to have it all his own way. And Miles Apps wastes very little time, dives to the inside, can't get the cart slowed down on the apex. Classic overtake, undertake there at hairpin number 2. Apps dives in too hot. Turney lets him go, gets the cut back, retakes the lead as you were, but now Joe Turney knows he is in a fight. We got 5 seconds left on the race clock. Are they going to get to the line before it strikes 0? Yes. Last lap board goes out. Now Turney defends. Apps, ironically, wasn't as close onto the straight as he was the previous lap, and Joe Turney didn't really need to defend. Apps might need to defend, though, because Chesterton, Petit and Kimber are right there as well, over the Litchfield Bridge for the 11th and final time in this race. Down the hill. And Joe Turney doesn't defend into the first hairpin. But he then misses his apex. And now he's going to have to defend because Apps was not really within striking distance until that mistake from Turney. Petit and Kimber squabble over 4th. So Chesterton is clear in 3rd. And Miles Apps has got a couple of corners left to go. Does he make a lunge going into Bobby Game corner? No. Nor does he into the Mike Wilson complex. So Joe Turney's very slight error, and he only made one all race, goes unpunished, and he takes the win. Apps second, Chesterton third, Petit and Kimber are next. Then Tommy Foster in 6th. We wait for the 7th place battle, which is a long way back, but it's a good scrap, and it's going to be the number 77 Coles cart of Luke Oliver ahead of Jensen Brown, Reese Hunter, Jason Lockwood, Isaac Smith and Cole Kilner. Then Ryan Elliott in 13th, followed by Henry Ayres, Logan Blake and Jamie Conker. Does he cross the line? No, he doesn't. And that is the number 56 cart parked on the exit of the final corner within sight of the checkered flag. Now, just before we get to race number 20,